is a dark, dark day in the NFL. Defenses scored like crazy, and the Jets' season ended with a bang. My name is Fitzy, and I'm here hosting episode 2 of this year's Why Do Boys Play Games podcast. I'm joined by two much happier co-hosts, and let me bring one in right now. His name is Dewey the Boy Man, Colin Swords. Colin, how are you?
I might be happier, but I definitely would describe myself as happy. It was a tough week 1, but, we'll get into that.
Well then, Corby, please tell me you're in a good mood today.
I'm in a great mood today, Sean. Thank you so much. I feel just utterly blessed that I skated by week 1, defeating you. Again, we'll get into it, but happy to be 1-0 at this point in the season.
A lot of people want to know. Not a lot of people score over 150. But before we get to that, we've got the draft recap. Tribal count skill.
It is time to vote.
Corbett,
You're up.
What's up, gamers? My tribal council pick is Amon-Ra St. Brown for $43.
Tribe has spoken.
I own him in every league I'm in. Tonight it'll be 7 for 7. I'm going Cam Akers.
Guys, you know I love him. He's gonna be on my team again. Patrick, $60, baby. Let's do it.
So normally I go into every draft really wanting only one thing. Historically, only wanting one thing. And that thing, since I started playing fantasy in this league, has been Alvin Kamara. So hasn't worked out for me. Really did not work out for me the last time I drafted him. And I don't think it's going to work out for me this year. So this is probably longer than you guys wanted it, but that's okay. So I'm out on Alvin Kamara. Feeling really freed to not have to draft him, to be detached from the Saints, the team that I love. Feels really good not to feel like you have to draft. Stop. Feels really good to feel like you don't have to draft people from your favorite team. And for a long time, I was just like, oh, I love Alvin Kamara too much. I really want to draft him. So I'm out of that. That being said, my person that I feel like I cannot leave this draft without. Okay, you're out. Lulu's out. Is Chris Olave. Also, I'm painting, so I'm just running out of time. But it's Chris Olave. There's no dollar amount on here because I'm just going to pay $1 more than Fitzy pays to get him. So, Chris Olave, I'm sorry that I traded you last year. I knew it was wrong. Cash pressured me. No, I'm just kidding. It was of my own volition. But I'm coming back for you. Chris Olave, not leaving the draft without you.
Sick. This is so dope.
I am choosing to just
Alvin Ridley.
my vote.
My boy.
Tribe has spoken.
all right, we're here at Tribal Council about to write down the name of my guy that I will be walking away from the draft with on my team. It's been a tough choice, but after looking through the list, this is the guy that I have to get with. You already know. Let's go, baby. Jets.
This is one of our very best casts. I really believe that this is going to be a fun season, full of likable people. Good night. Hope you enjoyed the season.
Thanks, Jeff. In the first week, I talked about how the auction prices and how they've changed over the years, and I've updated them. I think it'd be an interesting thing to look at, revisit that to see how it turned out. You guys want to take a look? I'll direct you guys to my PowerPoint. Are you guys getting this?
No.
No.
Yes.
Oh, we got it. All right.
Yeah, right.
Look at that.
So
Look at
the
that. Look at those
my-
graphics.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Look
That's
at this sweet
Google
graphics.
Google PowerPoint
All
graphics.
right, post 2023 draft analysis. I'm a minimalist. I keep it simple, okay? I don't want you to be looking at the flair. I want you to look at the data, right? Fitzy appreciates that. He likes data. So this is the one. This is what we went over last time. This is the past in the auction. The line that I always like to look at, the blue one, because that's what I like to talk about, is quarterbacks going up, 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 everything else going down. Look at this. The first year of auction, we didn't really touch on this. Quarterback was the least expensive position. It was less than tight end on average. How crazy is that? It's very crazy. I'll answer that question. It was rhetorical. Let's look at 2023. Bam! It happened. Quarterbacks became the number one most expensive position. Spoiler alert, they did go above $20 by 0.3. And that was the top 32 quarterbacks. So every starting quarterback, basically. And everything else went down, except receivers went up a little, although that graph looks like they went down. So it's probably a glitch in the programming. No, wait, it's just that it's a gray for receivers. Yeah, receivers went up, everything else went down. Running backs really took a nosedive. Something had to give to make quarterbacks go up. So the prophecy's been fulfilled. Quarterbacks are finally the most expensive position, and I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I would be surprised maybe to see them still go up next year because already in week one, well, it was a weird week, but we'll see if it's a weird season. Quarterbacks were expensive. Did you guys spend up?
Yes, I mean I spent 40 on Joe Burrow, and it
But you got
netted me
Anthony Richardson.
three. Yeah, I spent 60 total on quarterbacks this year,
There you go.
and 40 of it was Joe Burrow, who netted me 3.18 points, and Anthony Richardson, which was 20.
And you have Jimmy G, don't you?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jimmy G too. Shit, yeah. So I spent a little more than $60 of my budget. So, yeah, you were totally right, and I was totally wrong.
It was close
Yeah.
though. It was by a necktie.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I spent 68 on my top two, Colin. I necktie. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait,
Just
who
want
are
to
your top
address
two?
that.
Do you have Fields?
But Justin Herbert and Dak, and you know what? I should have started Mac Jones, $6. So last year, when you had your 6 or 7 quarterbacks, what really struck me was how you were always able to start the right ones. I still consider that just luck, but maybe if you were managing my team, would you have started Mac Jones last week?
I would have started Mac Jones over Dak, and I would have started Jimmy G over Burrow for sure, 100%. No, I wouldn't have done either. Of course, of course, I would have started.
Thanks for taking the bait.
It's when it's all poop, it's it's easy to just pick a piece of poop. But when it's like poop and a diamond, you're gonna pick the diamond every time.
This is quite the analogy that you're talking about right now.
Neckties and poops, and let's move on.
Yeah, Colin, thank you for the mini little Colin's charts this week. We're feeling spicy. We're going to take a fan favorite segment from the end of the pod and reel it right into the start because it's time for Bets of the Week. We're going to do it early because we're going to lock in a couple of season-long bets, a couple that are important before we do our pick'ems. So last week, we had just had a couple that were relevant to last week. One was Taylor over-under drafted quarterbacks, 2.5. Colin has the under, and I had the over. He picked 2, but he picked some, he picked not bottom of the barrel. Daniel Jones did not have a good week, but he picked them, and Tua had a fantastic week. So congrats to Taylor. We also had average quarterback price over under 20, and Colin, you just presented that we were over, and that Corby and I where we picked the under on that. However, I believe I've caught you trying to swindle us. Allow me just a moment to share my screen. I did the math here. I copy pasted all of our draft, just put it into Excel, something that you probably did. And then I searched QB, and I averaged the salary column. And what do I get? I get 18.7. You trying to take my money, Colin?
You left
You did not.
Brissett.
You didn't take Josh Dobbs, Brissett, or Kyle Trask into account.
Yeah, I said top 32.
That's true.
And go back in the episode.
In the episode, he does say the top 32. Yeah.
Damn it. All right. Well, never mind. I just tried to swindle you out of money, and you caught me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it's fine. But I mean, even on a principle basis, I mean, we're gonna count those guys.
Oh well,
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs is a starting.
Fine, Josh Dobbs. You
NFL.
can argue Josh Dobbs, I guess. I just did top 32, and I think in the video, I think we might have even agreed to top 30 because of how garbage. So I don't know. Like those guys are barely gonna start, but
I really gotta wonder if we said top 32 and Josh Dobbs was the 33rd. Oh, Kyler Murray.
Kyler, yeah.
Yeah, it's Kyler. Okay. Wow, that's incredible that it was that close, though,
I
huh?
know.
One quarterback away. So, good bets of the week last week. We've got a couple new ones, and I want to start things off with the season-long Pick'ems bet, where your hosts pick a winner of every game every week. The winner is going to get $5 from each of us. But if the coin wins, we're all going to donate money to charity. Now, I just want to ask, are you guys comfortable saying $50 to charity?
Yes.
Charity, the Bachelorette from the last season.
Yeah.
She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars. She's got enough money, if you ask me.
If she had a GoFundMe, we could certainly do that too.
No, I'll send it to a charity, but not to charity from Bachelorette. That's where I draw the line.
You can send it to a charity of your choice.
Even Charity Taylor, or whatever her name is, the Bachelorette.
Yes, if you want to change your mind and give it to her, yes. I've got a few bets of the week to offer here. I've got 3 in my head. Did you guys bring any here this week?
I have one.
I have one, but it's not season long.
In that case, let me start off, Corby, by giving you one straight up. Because last week, you beat me, but I will win the war. I bet that this year, I am going to finish higher than you in adjusted ranking.
Man, you really like the adjusted rankings bets, huh? First you got me going against my wife, and now you got me going against you. I'm definitely going to take it, so let's go.
Lock it in, Corby, and I'll look forward to my $5 footlong. Colin, did you have one for us here?
I did. It's as per usual, it's a selfish one. So we'll probably maybe touch on it a little later in a couple times, but you might have saw Cam Akers out there against the Seahawks. They gave him the ball a lot. He had a lot of opportunities. He got a touchdown, 22 carries. That all sounds good, right? He did have 29 yards, which I noted in the chat. So that's a tough, what's that, 1.2 or something per carry or something. It's not great. Kyron Williams, he outscored him. But didn't outtouch him. And for that reason, I think Cam Akers is going to outscore Kyron Williams next week. They're playing San Francisco. It's going to be a tough matchup. I think Cam Akers will get more than Kyron Williams because I need him to, because I have Cam Akers in all of my leagues. I convinced my wife to draft him in her league. That's eight shares out of 8 for Cam Akers. What do you guys think?
You're going to start him?
No, I will not start him. But I think he's going to outscore Kyron Williams.
I don't. Give me
Just
Kyron.
for you two, then. I'm not touching this.
Give me Kyron. I'll do any bet to bet against fucking Cam Akers. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, well.
I mean, the human being is probably fine. It's
All
just
right,
for next week, right?
Yes, next week. No, this isn't a season long.
This is points or touches?
Just points against the Niners.
So, Colin, I've got one for you now. I noticed in your power rankings, which, by the way, thank you for showing the numbers in your power rankings. Really appreciated seeing what goes into, your projections and how you rank yourself number 1 every year. But I noticed that you had Sam Howell 8 points higher than Dak Prescott on the year. Now, personally, I don't know how well I like that. Dak gave him a 9-point head start on Sunday, but I'm going to take it. I'm betting on Dak to finish with more fantasy points than Sam Howell in 2023.
So the trouble with that is that, like, I love Sam Howell. I was very kind to him in the projections. It's just like, is he going to start all year? So,
Yes.
I mean, no, maybe not. But I'm going to take it anyway because I have to show that I have to have some integrity with my numbers. So, yeah. What do you mean by 8 points on the year, or was he 8 points like not per game? Right?
You had Sam Howell statted out for 308 and Dak
Okay.
for 300.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine then. That's reasonable. Yeah. I'm down.
What if
think
Dak
you- and
doesn't
look at
start all year? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he might not.
Yeah, Trey Lance season, dude. Come on. They traded for him for a reason.
It looks good.
A lot of ways this can go wrong for me, but I like it. Corbett, do you have a bet here?
Sure. Yeah. So, Fitzy, I just love beating you so much that I would love to just do a rematch of last week. So, just total points, me versus you.
Oh, of course I'm going to bet on
Okay,
it.
all
I
right,
just
all
did my floor week. Yeah.
I had another one that just kind of popped into my brain.
Okay.
There's some big rookie wide receivers out there. For like this, like like the Zay Flowers, the Jordan Addisons, and the Jackson Smith and Jigbas. And I was wondering if you guys had any opinion about who would be the best, and out of those three horses, if you would pick one, and we could see maybe starting if we wanted to start from week 2 on, we could see who finishes top.
I like that. I like that a lot. Now, you just mentioned 3. Can we pick any rookie receiver?
I
If you,
know who Fitzy wants to pick.
I was gonna say, if you want to pick a different one, those were the
Fitzy
top
wants
3 that came to
Puka.
my head.
I'm a big pooker. I'm a big pooker.
I do like Puka too. Yeah, if you want to take Puka, then that's totally fine.
Honestly, I do want to take Jordan Addison.
Okay.
If I were
Okay.
offered any of the 3.
Yeah,
Colin, would you jump in your first pick?
I would
Sorry.
not have taken Jordan Addison.
Okay.
What about you, Colin?
I'm fine taking Zay Flowers. I wouldn't. I probably would have taken Jordan Addison as well, but I'm fine with Zay. He looked awesome. I'll take Zay Flowers.
Okay, and I will take Jackson Smith and Jigba. So lock in this 3-headed horse race that we've got. The rookies are on the run.
That's a name.
Okay.
All right, and our final bet of the week/year is another season long. And again, it's going to be a true season long, not starting in week 2. We've got a real conundrum coming up for Mike Bekonowitz in the waivers. And just so the listeners know, we're recording this on Tuesday. There's a very real chance that you could enter week 2 having to decide if he's going to start Desmond Ridder or Zach Wilson. I want to just make a straight up passing yard bet on the year between these two. As of right now, Zach Wilson's got the lead at 140 and Desmond Ridder's got 115. Do you guys have a lean on Zach Wilson versus Desmond Ridder passing yards?
My gut feeling was like, all right, this is Zach Wilson easily. But then I just remembered that he's Zach Wilson, and like I feel like there's no way that he's starting all year, right? Like,
Yes.
fuck. Oh shit.
Okay, so we're all taking Ridder?
Well, no.
Oh,
Like, I would be
no.
okay with taking Zach. It's just,
I would also be okay with taking Zach.
I almost think that he has a better chance of starting all year. Well, I don't know what. I guess they could pick someone up the Jets. I don't know who they would trade for. Who's their third? Do you know, Fitzy? Who is it right now?
Yeah, Tim Boyle, longtime listener, Chris Colby's fave.
And I know that Heineke is backing up Ridder, so they have a capable backup. So I feel like I would take I'll take Wilson.
Corby, are you in?
Yeah, give me Wilson. Fuck it. Let's go. Give me the
Lock
milk
it in.
number.
I'll be very happy if you guys win.
Yeah, that's a good bet to make. You're happy if you win or lose.
You're hedging your bets, dude.
I like it. Hedging happiness. Hedging happiness. Let's take a peek through the hedgerow at the week 1 that was. And our first matchup here of the year that we're going to recap was Colin versus Adam. We started with a barn burner in which Colin cements himself as the 5th place powerhouse, and Adam takes Colin's advice to not peak too early. This is the battle of the injured tight ends, and someone had to step up for Adam. Jalen Waddle was the second leading pass catcher on the day that Tua put up 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. And somehow he turns that into 11 fantasy points. Now, Colin, feels like just an average win for you up and down your team. Save the Diggs score. I just got to know, how do you feel about this one?
Not really good or bad. Not just because like what's behind the numbers, like it's nice to have hopefully Cup at one point, but and Andrews wasn't playing, so the fact that I could put this score up without 2 of like my best players is good. But just like the fact that Kirk and Akers were so bad, it scares me. So I would say like I feel like my team's pretty mediocre. I don't think I'm gonna have the quarterback luck I did last year, where I uncovered Jared Goff. I don't think Sam Howell or Baker are that guy. Kenny Pickett lost Deontay, so I think it'll be a tough year for me. But shout out to Adam with his accurate team name. He was indeed first place last year. He won the championship, and he's now last. He's 12th. So good on you, Adam.
A lot of really sick swag plays here. We've got Colin playing Baker Mayfield against Adam, who is like their arch nemesis, which is really amazing. Adam really going for broke and starting Taysom Hill. I just don't. I still don't. I don't get it. It's just shocking. And Adam just starting just 2 running backs that are Jerick McKinnon and Damian Harris. It's very, very swaggy. I really appreciate. I really appreciate the effort. Unfortunately, leaving Brock Purdy on the bench did not do well for you.
Yeah, I mean, Adam scored under 100. He was the only team to do so, but I mean, we'll see a couple others here that really just towed that line well. Gorby, you're absolutely right. I can't help but feel like the Taysom Hill was just is Adam trying anymore? I got to wonder if his heart's not in it this year.
He's just got better. He's just got bigger fish to fry or bigger bets to place. You know what I'm saying?
Does Adam like football?
Well, it was the logic is there where it was Jamal Williams and then who I guess he just thought they would go to him more, which is I was a little afraid when I saw him in the lineup. They had no Kendre Miller, who's gonna play besides Jamal Williams? It wasn't Taysom Hill. I guess nobody did, and he went hard on he went negative RB on draft night, and he's paying for it.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Even his RB in the quarterback slot didn't really do much for him this year or this week. In our next matchup, Chris Colby takes on Taylor, and Taylor gets the win, just like everybody, including the coin, had picked. I should give a quick shout out that Colin and Corby were on Colin's side and winners. I and the coin fell to 0-1, picking Adam in the first matchup. Now, this one was a high-scoring affair where our second and third highest-scoring teams squared off. Taylor's Tua and Hill stack is looking pretty good right about now, as is Hopkins with his 10 targets. And you just have to hope that Aaron Jones isn't hurt too bad. Meanwhile, Chris is looking pretty good, honestly. Nobody wanted to touch Michael Pittman or Mike Evans, but, well, we'll get to it. But let's just say I picked Taylor for a reason in this matchup. Corbett, any thoughts?
I definitely picked Taylor in this matchup for a reason, too. Taylor, coming out of the draft, had one of my absolute favorite teams. I think it's super top heavy. Now looking at the box score here, I love Daniel Jones. He's not going to play the Cowboys every week. He only has to play them one more time this year, which is great. Tyreek Hill is who we thought he was, a woman beater and also a fantasy god. He's great at fantasy for sure. You've got Gus Edwards sitting on your bench waiting for you to plug in next week, so that's nice. So you don't have to start Zach Charbonnet. Hopefully you can figure out what to do with if Aaron Jones is out. Love it. Chris, I remember not liking your team after the draft, but I'm again looking at it, and it I think better days are ahead for you too. So I would shake it off and you get right back on your horse.
Yeah, I think I ranked Taylor. He was in the top half of my power rankings. I think he has a good team. Yeah, it's a god stack of Tua and Tyreek Hill. It's going to be awesome this year if they can both stay healthy. He's got Amon-Ra, that's Corby's guy. I think when Alvin Kamara comes back and he doesn't have to start, Zach Charbonnet or whoever else is on his bench in the RB2 spot, which is pretty much nobody. Oh, Gus Edwards, he has. Way to roster Gus Edwards, Taylor. But I think Taylor has a good team, and honestly, I think Chris Colby has a good team. It was just tough. It sucks when you're the third highest scorer and you lose. So, 2 good teams. Shake off that loss, Chris.
Shake it off and maybe shake up the bench. I'm looking at it. 14.1 in week 1 is not a bench score that you're hoping for. You maybe brighter days ahead for Isaiah Hodgins, but maybe not. Certainly brighter days ahead for the winner of our next matchup, and that's my good friend Chris P taking down Mike. And for the record, we were all on Mike. Now, Mike fell for Isaiah Likely, which I really sympathize with. And you saw enough from the other guys on this team and the games they were playing. I think this could be a floor game for Mike. Mike's leading scorer, however, was the Jets defense. And if his waiver wire works out, he's going to be picking between Desmond Ridder and Zach Wilson to start along Geno Smith every week. So on the one hand, things are looking bright. On the other, things are looking bleh. Colin, any thoughts on this matchup either way?
Yeah, I picked Mike to win, and it's a little, it's not like I feel bad for losing because Rodgers went down, which also hurt Garrett Wilson. I mean, those weren't going to help him win anyway, but I don't really like either of these teams very much. I think Mike was like 11th or 10th in my rankings. I still picked him to win. But I think Chris was last. So I don't like either of these teams. Sorry.
Yeah, don't really love either of these teams either here. This feels like the bottom of the barrel Mike's like lowest score that he might have this year, depending on like health of people, and it just sucks that about Rodgers. It's terrible.
And then Dobbins on Chris's side. I didn't notice that.
Oh, I know Dobbins it's at least he had 11 points, right? Yeah, I'm hoping for better days ahead for both these teams, but I myself am not sure. I hope I'm proven wrong. Next up here, we had Brandy Corbett versus Chris Cloud, where Chris Cloud comes out the victor. And in our pick'em here, it was me and Colin on Team Brandy, along with the coin, and Fitzy was the one who got this one correct. Yeah, so Brandy got shellacked by over 30 points. All thanks to the really good quarterback play of Josh Allen and Ryan Tannehill. That was super helpful. I loved that. Dallas Goedert absolutely crushed it with a nice big goose egg. That was great. Yeah, I don't really have much to say else. Chris, I after draft night, I was a little bullish on your team just because I wasn't sure about your QB situation, but you were playing 4D chess waiting for QBs, it looks like.
Now, Corby, I was very bullish on Chris's team coming out of the draft, which is why I picked him. So Chris here, my note is he went with the ground and pound attack. He started 5 running backs this week. And it's ultimately, you're right, these bottom of the barrel QBs that get him the win. Jordan Love dominating here. I can always count on these two teams, however, to follow some trends. Brandy is going to roster 2 defenses, which, for the record, I respect. If there's a stock that you know is going to rise, you might as well invest, right? And Brandy's always thinking about maybe not 4D chess, but like 2.5D chess. I'm going to start this defense next week. I respect that, and you don't get the result I sometimes call out, which is the bench defense outscoring your starter. You had a good D play here. And Chris, I was ready to crown you champion. However, your trend is having empty roster spots. Taylor did this a bunch last year. I don't understand it. Usually, this is not a week 1 phenomenon. Just a little PSA to the listeners. If you drop someone or put someone on IR, you can pick someone up. It's a pro tip a Yahoo Insider once told me. Colin, any thoughts on either of the sides?
I mean, Brandy I think was ranked really high by me, and I stand by it. This is just a shit week. Barkley had to play the Cowboys. Josh Allen had to play the Jets. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is going to put up 2.5 every week. The Goddard thing, a lot of this is anomalous. Brandy's playing 2D chess because 2Ds. Get it? Chris, I don't like your team at all. I feel like this is going to be about your average score every week. That's the thing I feel like about these running backs is, some of them will have good ceilings, but I feel like, most of them, one of these guys going to put up about 10, Mostert, Pacheco, White. I just don't see ceilings for these guys. So I feel like, it's limiting you to this score. Same thing with the quarterbacks. I think we were sleeping on Matt Stafford, though. I think Jordan Love might have been just a little fluky. I don't think the Bears are very good. But we'll see next week. And we'll see next week how Chris's team does, and he'll probably punch me in the mouth with his high scoring output. Are we going to see the first 2 hundo burger next week from Chris? Maybe.
I like that, Colin. And speaking of getting punched in the mouth, Tyler gets picked by all of us to beat Eric, and Eric falls to Tyler. Now, I picked Tyler in this one solely on the fact that I projected Eric's defense, the Buffalo Bills, to put up negative points. They did outscore my projection with 5. Tyler gets the top score of the week, but that's what's going to happen when you get the steal of the draft for just $1. And they produce the second most fantasy points so far in the whole league. Now, of course, talking about the Dallas Cowboys defense. Meanwhile, 5 of Eric's 6 most expensive non-quarterbacks, that's 135 draft bucks. That's nearly 2/3 of Eric's budget, combined for 36 points. And for those counting at home, that's 5 less than the Dallas D. I feel like, Tyler's always got the shitty Chiefs receiver on his team. And this year, there's just so many to pick from. So Tyler has instead the 2 best receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I can't wait to see his start-sit decisions as the year rolls on. Really a lot of fun on both sides of this matchup here.
It's going to be really fun watching him pick the wrong guy every week. It's going to be like an every other week type thing. It's going to be great. But it doesn't matter because he's got the whole Vikings offense. He's got Kirk Cousins. He's got Jordan Addison. He's got fucking Justin Jefferson. He's going to crush. He's going to keep crushing. He's got a great team. I love Tyler's team. Eric's team fucking sucks. It's terrible. I hate it. 8 of his 11 starters scored single digits, and that's the way it's going to be all season. Because fuck you.
No, I like Eric's team. I think I had him and Tyler ranked back to back in my power rankings. I mean, it was a shit week, but 1 week, right? It's week 1. I think Jamar Chase will do better. I like Tyler's team a lot too. He's got his guy Justin Jefferson, just like last year. They're running it back. Obviously, the Dallas thing is inflating his score kind of. I mean, that's crazy, but good for him. I mean, Dallas is going to be awesome this year. So, yeah, just like always, Tyler's in the hunt for that championship game. Fitzy's about to win that bet. Tyler's making it to the Big Boy Bowl. Speaking of Big Boy Bowl, I'll intro this next matchup. It was the battle of the co-hosts, Corby versus Fitzy. Now in this one, Corby got the tight win, 134.5, 126.84. That's a close one. Corby, what was the factor in this one here?
So the factor in this one for me, for sure. So I thought for sure that I was donezo before Sunday Night Football started because Fitzy still had Dak and Brandon Cooks, and I figured that they would crush the Giants and whatnot. But thankfully, I woke up the next morning and they had only scored 10 points total for them, which was nice of them. I appreciated that. And I think I just lucked into a lot of underperformances from Fitzy's other team, like Drake London. He had 0 points, but it's not really fair for me to see that because I know T. Higgins also had 0 points. So I think a lot of my shit was polished over Fitzy's shit, and so in that sense, I just think I got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where even though you had a decent score, I still think you would agree that this game kind of sucked for both of us. But there were some weird symmetries here. We both had a quarterback score exactly 20.92 points. We both had our third highest projected skill position player score 0. And we both had a QB do basically nothing for us, my Dak versus your Joe Burrow. I think you get the edge on all 3 of those, though, because Anthony Richardson outperformed his projection a little bit. T. Higgins has got the strangest stat line of 8 targets and 0 points. It's not like he was hurt or anything. He just couldn't, catch from Joe Burrow, who only put up 82 passing yards. And for the record, -1 rushing yard to hurt your score just that much more. My real note here is that you get the edge just on our shared darling, Brandon Ayuk, who for the first year ever that he's been in the league, I do not have him on any of my teams. I wanted him, couldn't get to him, and it just hurts me to see him excel like this the year where I'm off of him.
He's the best.
Yeah. And Corby, I also think that your team has the upside to do so much better. And I need to live with the downside of my draft strategy. I've got some depth, but with that depth comes the knowledge that swapping flexes would have won me this matchup. And I'm going to have to live with that regret, I think, most Sundays. I just know it. My note here is that My bench outscored Adam's lineup, and I lost. So, congratulations to Corby on that one. Maybe next week, if Jacoby Myers can pass the 5-step protocol for concussions, I'll put him in instead of Deontay Johnson or Brandon Stupid Cooks. But yeah, congrats, Corby.
All right, so let's recap here
Thanks.
because I'm the best. Let's look here. We've got me at 4-2 so far. Colin, Fitzy, and the coin at an even 500. We're gonna keep this up all year long. We'll base it on win percentage and all that stuff. You know.
I'd also like to step in with one before we get too far away from our pick'ems. I think that we all should be picking a lock of the week. One person who we think is going to do extra, just so the listeners know who we're the most confident about. Not flipping a coin, but saying, I'm putting my money on this guy.
Are you
Me
saying in
every
terms
week.
of performance or just like a guarantee?
They're going to get the win. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna pick myself every week.
That's what I was gonna say. I guess we'll have a rule where you cannot pick yourself.
Oh, you can if you're the most confident, but
Oh, that's how I work. That's how I operate, baby.
Speaking of
how Colin
operations,
there we go.
speaking of operations, we've had a lot of people operating on their team names over these past few days, past couple weeks actually. So this is my favorite segment. So I came up with this as the name change breakdown. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so there's a lot here. There's some that I missed. If there is, just feel free to chime in, boys. Let's start off with Chris P. He changed his name to Hot Grinch. I
love it.
I love it too, but I don't really understand it. We'll have to get him on the horn or something.
I think that's why I love it. It feels like he went to, how like Childish Gambino got his rap name. He went to like a random Wu-Tang Clan generator like website. I feel like Chris didn't even go to ChatGPT. He just picked 2 random words. This could be his password for all we know.
Oh,
fair enough.
Well, when I was Mr. Greenface and it was a picture of the Grinch, so I don't know if he
So
he got it
sexy
from,
Grinch.
not to make it
okay.
about me. I feel like it is about me.
He wanted to be a little hornier. All right, I
Chris
see.
is
All
taking
right.
shots.
And with that, Chris, I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. I like it a lot. Next up here, we had me. So I was no man at all, and then I did the fusion dance with 2 of my players, and I made Jacksvid Smith and Jogba, because they're the only 2 people in the NFL whose last name starts with N and J. I was super impressed by it. Not everyone in our league was impressed, so I changed it today. I changed it to the Gambler, and it's a picture of the Kenny Rogers album art with our favorite gambler Calvin Ridley and all of his friends are along the table. I'm gonna give it a 10. I love it. No, I'm gonna give a shout out to Mike though, because he texted me when Calvin Ridley scored the touchdown and said you should listen to the Gambler every time Calvin Ridley scores, and so I'm gonna do that now every time.
Oh, that's great. Now, Corbett, for the team name, I'm gonna abstain from rating it, but I want to give your team picture a 10 out of 10. The way that you cropped those arms onto the guy, that's high quality, low quality art right there.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks good, then I'm doing it wrong. I need to make it look as shitty as possible. All right, next up here we had Eric changing his name to Mr. Sleepy Guy. Yeah, okay, it's pretty funny.
This is I guess a good. When you're playing chess, you got to move the pawns first, and I think he had such strong team names last year. This is a good opening move from Eric. I can't wait to see how it develops throughout the year.
He's probably going to hit the launch button at some point, so
Oh, I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
We'll get ready.
Yeah,
we'll get ready for that.
He was preparing for launch. I don't know if it is Taylor. So this team name, I want your take on it, friends. A scantily clad bench.
a scantling, like Marvin, like MVS. It's
right.
Right. So scantling. I mean, I guess I get the like Entrande or whatever the word is, right? That like he's benched is like half suspended and IR guys, and also MVS. I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible. I 1000% like appreciate it coming from Taylor, who usually doesn't play this game. He's like I feel like a one name a year kind of guy. So I don't usually rate these. That's a 10 for me. I love it.
You know what? I think you've convinced me. I didn't realize that he was referring to the fact that his bench has the suspended players on it.
Right.
It's moving it right up the board for me. Great points.
Yeah, I didn't even get the MVS reference, to be completely honest. When I see that guy's name on like a roster, I just completely glance over it because I just assume he's going to be on someone else's roster in a few weeks. So yeah, it's great to see Taylor making an awesome entendre or whatever, however you pronounce that word. So yeah, sure, I'll give it a 10. Welcome to the big boys, Taylor. Speaking of like a goated name, Brandy comes up with Olave Garden, and I can't do this justice without the photo because the photo is absolutely incredible. I'll try to get a high res version of it and put it in this video because it's a picture of Chris Olave holding a breadstick. It's fucking awesome. I love it. It's a 10 for me for sure. And I'm not just saying that because it's my wife. It's a 10.
No, Brandy's all. I feel like Brandy's got. Didn't she win the Gamey for best pun names? Keeping it right up. Like Olave Oil has been a team name before. Olave Gardens is a natural extension, but it's the little details like him holding a breadstick that really bring it over the top.
The typeface for his name Olave too is very similar to the Olive Garden one. It's there's too much effort. It's really good. It's really good. Chris Colby, I can't remember what you set your name to for the like right after the draft, but you got flamed for it. Which you then changed your name to Hurtsmore coming from Adam, which was pretty funny. It's like a 6 maybe, and then Hurtsmore losing to Taylor definitely is great. I can't wait to see where the pain goes throughout the season. So I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. I'd rate the Adam one a little bit higher. I think that was the perfect response to getting flamed in the chat. That's, and I can always count on, Mike is maybe a little bit more, he reacts to team names. Chris reacts to goings on with his team name and keeps a solid theme. So thank you, Chris, for keeping that going.
He certainly took it on the chin.
You don't have the original Fitzy, do you? I know you usually up or for Chris's original name.
I don't. Unfortunately, I missed that one.
I know. It was Everybody Hurts, and then it was a Lockett pun. Like, and there was 2 separate. Because I remember Adam was talking about it on draft night, but I don't remember what it was.
Chris, if you're watching this, please explain your first name so I know what the hell it was, because I did not understand it.
It was 2 separate puns. It was like Everybody Hurts, pop Lockett, drop it, or whatever. That's not what it was, but it was like I think it was a Hurts pun and then a Lockett pun. Speaking of puns, I'll intro this next one. Chris Cloud, he's Little Daddy Farts. He's usually not much of a name changer, I don't believe. Am I wrong? What was he last year? I don't remember. Oh, Seth MacFarlane. Yep. So Seth MacFarlane, he's now Little Daddy Farts. What do you guys think?
I think the picture is terrifying. I don't know what it is, but it's fucking scary.
It looks like Thomas the Train Engine, but he's like stoned out of his gourd or something. I don't know.
Oh my god, it's terrifying. Yeah, I mean, I think the picture and name combo is definitely menacing. So I'm gonna give that one a 10 for sure.
What really scares me about the picture, there's this little red squiggle that I can't tell if it was added in post or not. Like, it makes me zoom in and it makes me stare at it for too long. This is almost as intimidating as just a picture of Derrick Henry next to Tyler's name. Like, it's something to strike fear into opposing managers is exactly what you're looking for. Striking fear, maybe not, but sadness comes from Mike's second name here. First, he's got a great Colin response. He faces Hot Grinch and makes his team name Sexy Sam I Am. He's got the alliteration. He's got sexy going on. That's great. And normally Mike would keep that going, but he had to express his own feelings as he changes his team name after the fact to Achilles injury.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. The Sexy Sam I Am picture was definitely traumatizing to look at. I did not like it, but I think it works for the name for sure. I mean, if your name's going to be Sexy Sam I Am, you might as well just go for it. So yeah, sure. For Sexy Sam I Am, I'll give it a 10. For Achilles, I'll give it a 0 because it's very sad and I feel bad.
Corbett, you got to bump that up to at least a 2 for the Eugene Horowitz picture.
Okay, sure. Okay. I gotta give credit where credit's due. If you're gonna give if you're gonna make an injury-related team name, using Eugene is a really great way to do it.
Don't forget this last one. Colin changed his name from Mr. Green Face to Life's a God when digs it. All right, do you guys get it or no?
No.
No.
It's from Joe Dirt. Remember? He says Life's a garden, dig it.
Oh.
All right.
I didn't
I thought
get
it
it
would be-
because your picture is still
the Grinch.
Still the Grinch.
Oh really?
Yeah.
The ugly Grinch, not
I
even the
changed
sexy
it.
one.
You know, I changed it in a Dunkin' Donuts, and the Wi-Fi was probably like fucking up. Or I'll change it right now. I didn't know that. All right,
How could
wait.
you not notice
Here,
that?
let me upload this real quick, and then can you guys re-rate it in a second? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rate it until I see a new photo.
All right. It's being uploaded. All right, choose image. Here we go. I'm saving the changes. All right.
I am madly refreshing.
I just changed it. Would you guys have gotten that? That doesn't really look like Joe Dirt.
I still wouldn't have gotten it.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
But I think with
I
the
thought it was
explanation,
"Life's a Good One" was the pun.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
I
not
didn't,
on my
yeah.
level.
I thought it was like life's like a whirlwind, like a god wind. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I didn't understand
I
it.
guess if you're working with nothing, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Oh,
You could have done Howl at the Moon or
that Howl at the Mooney. I have Howl and Mooney. It's
Oh.
way too low hanging fruit for me. Like I'm not doing that.
I'm gonna give this one a 5. With the explanation, it definitely bumps it up a few points for me. You will come into your own sooner or later.
Absolutely.
Speaking of low-hanging fruit, Colin, it's time for your favorite segment. It is Tuesday night. We don't have the results yet, but did you want to talk anything about the waivers that are coming up here?
Yeah, I'm real bummed that we can't talk about. I love talking about the bids and the transactions. It's always super exciting for me. I'm super excited to wake up tomorrow morning and see who gets who. And I'm glad this episode will come out before that or after that, so that we don't pique people's interest on some guys. I think we're gonna, the big ones obviously are Zach Wilson, and then like we were talking about Puka, Kyron Williams. I think those are the big three. And I believe tight end number 1, Hunter Henry. I think he's tight end 1 right now, right?
Mhm.
And what a shit week 1 for tight ends it was. So maybe people will be on top of him. Kendrick Bourne got a couple scores. So there'll be some guys. Tutu Atwell was really good too. Everyone's talking about Puka. I just want, Zach Wilson, I think, is the most important one because this is a 2 QB league. It's 12 teams. Are you guys just putting like a obligatory bet in or bid in? Are you guys just not even touching it? You guys, you don't want to show your hand too much, but are you guys bidding on all these people or are you
I'm betting
fading
on all
Hunter
these
Henry?
people. I'm betting on every single one of these people. No, I like you said, I will put an obligatory one in on Zach Wilson, so my team can show up in the screenshot you take next week. But Pook is my boy, and you're right. Tutu, I wasn't going to say anything, but both of those guys, I'll put a couple bucks on Puka and Tutu.
Right.
Yeah, I'm blowing my whole load on Puka for sure. When you wake up tomorrow, Puka's gonna be all over me. Probably not the whole 100, but it's gonna be. I'm probably gonna.
I do think spending week 1 is probably the best time to do it. So I mean, if you're gonna,
I've never done it before. Is kind of the reason why I'm like kind of thinking of going
Puka's
all out
popping your cherry.
for Puka. Yeah, Puka's gonna fuck me for sure.
Okay. All right. Any plans on a fat bid for Zach Wilson just to hold him ransom for Mike, who I believe doesn't have a second quarterback? Oh no, he's Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a second quarterback? No, I'm joking.
I will spoil the lead for my co-host here, but there was somebody else in this house who is going to bid on Zach Wilson. It's not going to be me. It's not Spud, I don't think.
Lulu?
It might be Lulu. It might be Lulu.
Does man only have 2 quarterbacks?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Jacoby Brissett, who doesn't really count. Oh no, that's Chris. I was looking at the wrong side. Yes.
Yeah.
2
Bernie
quarterbacks.
only has 2 rostered right now.
Yeah. So that'll do it.
Kendrick Bourne, I find interesting, but I feel like he will just be picked up.
Yeah. Mac Jones threw the ball something like 55 times. This is like, I don't know who last year. Was anyone good when Joe Flacco was throwing it 50 times? I don't know. Besides like Garrett Wilson, maybe not.
Was Corey Davis okay last year, or was he
Conklin?
that the year before?
It was the year before.
Yeah, I don't think he was really a thing last year. And I don't know.
That's sad. Any reason to talk about Corey Davis, I'll bring him up.
So yeah, I guess that's it. We'll see who goes for what, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. Speaking of next week, let's look at the week 2 preview. First up, looks like it's me and Tyler. The commish versus the me. I'm not starting Cam Akers, so I think I should win. What's your guys' take?
Okay.
Maybe you should start Cam Akers. I don't know about this Rashad Bateman getting 3 targets being sustainable for you. I like the opportunity. The problem is I really like Tyler's team. Kind of top to maybe not the bottom of the bottom, but if he's going to be starting Jordan Addison, Breece Hall, and new totem Rashee Rice in his flex on top of everyone else he's got, Tyler Algier is slotted in. He's not going to get 2 touchdowns again, but he's pretty good.
Oh, never mind. Wait, I think I might pick Tyler. Dallas is playing the Jets with Zach Wilson. He's going to put up 40 again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Jesus.
I was going to end on that. I was going to end on Dallas might actually overtake Tyreek Hill and become the top scoring player this year. So
there's no irony in that. That is 100% sincere. They could really be number 1 after this week. That's crazy.
I'm taking Tyler and Colin. I'm sorry to say it. This is my lock of the week.
I 100% understand. I'm gonna still pick myself on principle, but no grudges held. That's a great pick, Fitzy. Good pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Fitz. I'm gonna ride on Fitzy's back here and take Tyler as well. I think that your big downfall here is that you're not going to start Samaje Perine, the best running back on the Denver Broncos. I understand that Rashad Bateman he's projected for 8.88 points, and that's really nice to look at. But Samaje Perine is the best running back on the Denver Broncos, and he's going to outscore his projection of 10.51, and you're going to miss out on those points. So for that reason, give me Tyler.
I will remind you guys I'm starting Baker Mayfield. Do you want to switch?
Oh, you have a really good stack of Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to the 4th member of the podcast. And the coin is taking Colin.
Is this our first Chris Bowl of the year? Is this the inaugural Chris Bowl? Fuck. All right, let me introduce this one. We've got Chris Colby versus Chris Cloud in a highly sought after Chris Bowl. It's been a long time since we've had one of these. I'm looking forward to seeing if Chris Colby's team can pick up the slack that was there last week. Maybe with AJ Dillon, Super Meat Man, getting some extra carries because of that other guy that's hurt. I can't remember his name off the top of my head for the moment. But Chris Cloud is he's starting 5 running backs again, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So for that reason, I'm taking Chris Cloud as my lock of the week.
Whoa, you're locking it in a Chris Bowl. Wow.
I'm locking in the Chris Bowl.
Now, not to spoil the lead, but I'm about to agree with you. And it's partially because I do really like Chris Cloud's team. I'll say, there's some question marks that, I think I might start some people over who he's currently got in the lineup, but he's got studs up and down, quarterbacks who I think were a little bit underrated or overlooked in the draft. And Chris, Colby, your team, honestly, is one of my favorites in the entire league. I mean that full, with no jokes, full sincerity.
You got your QBs.
And that's what I was about to get to, Colin.
I'm sorry.
You've got a cursed combination of QBs. Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields sounds like they would win a lot of games, right? Nope. I think you're going to go 0-8 to start the year. So sorry, it's got to be Chris Colby or Chris Cloud to start things off, and the coin's riding with me.
I'm taking Chris Colby. I had him ranked higher. I think Chris Cloud does need to fix his lineup, and he actually has a really good team. Get Pickens with no Deontay, put Zay in there. Take some of those guys out. But I just like Chris Colby's team too much. Even though I wish he would also switch out. Please get Juju out there. Please trade Goff. I feel like he's way too good to be a backup in this 12-team 2-quarterback league. You need depth. You need flex pieces. Go out and trade for trade me. I'll give you the best Broncos running back for him.
What a deal! What a fucking deal, Chris.
And in our next matchup, we're going to round off the Chris's here in our lowest projection of the week, and that is Chris P taking on Taylor. I've got to imagine that this projection is going to go up, and I say that because I believe Taylor's going to slot Gus Edwards into the lineup because of J.K. Dobbins, and I think probably the second saddest injury of week one, going on IR, still in Chris's lineup. I look left, I look right, and I can't help but think that both of these teams are going to underscore their low projection. I'm going to take Taylor in sort of a very low confidence, low scoring matchup.
I think I kind of touched this on when we went over the matchups of the week for last week, but I mean, Chris was one of my bottom ranked teams. Bryce Young looked really bad. Russ looked, as mediocre to below average as usual. And I think Daniel Jones is going to have an awesome bounce back week against the Cardinals. Taylor is he's in second place right now. He almost scored the most points, if not for the, Sunday night defense of the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm picking Taylor. I would almost lock this, but it's just that RB2 spot is just way too disgusting for me and some of those flex guys. Maybe Taylor makes some moves. He had a good draft. His roster is full, so he might be a new man. Oh, no, never mind. He has an empty roster spot. But he probably dropped someone today, right? I don't know. Oh, probably not, actually. Make some moves, Taylor. Get some guys in. Don't start Adam Thielen and Quentin Johnston. I like Quentin Johnston. He's more of a stash, though. I'm picking Taylor.
I'm definitely picking Taylor here, too. I can't pick a team that has Donovan Peoples-Jones in their starting lineup. I just can't. Sorry, Chris. And who does the cloud pick? Who does the coin pick?
The coin is taking Taylor. That makes it a full round of Taylors. And in the next matchup, I'm taking on your wife, Brandy. And
who's me or Collins?
And as much as I do love Khalil Herbert, I think this is Brandy's first step on the way to beating you in adjusted ranking, Corby. One of us has got to do it this week. But I'm gonna take Brandy. Romeo Dubes, eating some doobie snacks. Looked pretty good last week. What do you guys think?
I'm 100% in on Brandy. Corby, I'm sorry. I mean, Fitzy. I know I had your team ranked like second. But I just really like Brian Robinson. I feel like is really speaking of overlooked people, we talked about some quarterbacks. I think he was so overlooked as a running back. He's getting all the work there. He caught a touchdown. He's looking like the love child of J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson from a few years ago. There is no Antonio Gibson anymore. So I just great starters at every, I like the flexes, a deep team. I do like your team, Fitzy. If Jacoby passes the concussion protocol, who are you taking out?
I'd probably take Khalil Herbert out, but I'd have to look at it a little bit.
That's the wrong answer. The answer is Brandon Cooks against the Jets. So I'm going to go with Brandy.
Yeah, I'm going to take Brandy here too, Fitzy. I'm sorry. I think Brandy's team is so super excellent. I actually really like your team too, Sean.
I do too.
We'll get into that next time for sure. The Drake London scares the shit out of me. They're just not good. Are they going to throw the ball? I hope so.
Well, we found his floor.
One target. Yeah, I'm taking Brandy for that. Not for that reason, but I just like Brandy's team more this week, I think.
Totally agreed. But you know who doesn't agree? The coin. For the first time, the coin is on an island with me. Corbett, why don't you take this next matchup here? It's you versus Eric. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah. I haven't really looked at this matchup that much because I've just I don't know. I feel like I'll probably lose this one. Let me tell you though, I'm definitely not going to start Deion Jackson. That's for sure. So we can opt him out. So my projection will go up a little bit. I'm not sure who I'm starting. It's probably not going to be Odell Beckham. Hopefully it's Puka. So if I get Puka, then I'm going to win. So I'll take myself because my team's better than Eric's. Fuck you, Eric.
Here's my take on it. First of all, I really do like both of these teams. feel like we've been saying a lot, but I don't see this as like either one of you are particularly low. It's the battle of the Bengals here. You got Higgins versus Chase, and you got Burrow on your side. So you're both kind of hoping for good weeks there against Baltimore. Ultimately, I've got to take you, Corby, based on one fact. You might be potentially wasting a roster spot on Kyle Trask. We don't know if Baker's going to start all year, but I know that Eric's wasting a roster spot because he also has an empty one. It's been empty since September 5th. What's going on in this league? So for that reason, Corby, I think that, you actually have a full team, so I'm taking you.
It's tough to say before the waivers clear because I'd like to see these teams. Specifically, I'd like to see if Eric is going to keep starting Kyle Pitts. This is a team of two guys who I think I was really wrong about. Corby I had really low. I think I rated Ridley and Richardson and probably even Cook, a lot of these guys. Definitely Ayuk. I think that's a big one. I was just wrong about some of these guys. But it's only been 1 week, so maybe I wasn't. And then Eric, I had a lot of these guys ranked higher, like DeAndre Swift, who had 2 touches for, I think, 0 yards, maybe 1 yard. I don't know. He didn't do anything. So I'm going to pick Eric anyway because I have to have some integrity. It's been 1 week. I'm throwing all that out the window. Let's see if there's trends or what the anomalies are. I'm picking Eric. He's going to hit the launch button. So this is it. You heard it here first. His finger is hovering over the launch button.
That might be a premature launch if it's week 1. I made the note earlier that Adam took the notes. He's not trying to peak too early. But we're going to peak at his team right now because to me, this next one is the matchup of the week. It's where I lied earlier. This is truly our currently lowest scoring matchup because Mike has to replace Aaron Rodgers. And at the time of this recording, Adam has benched all of his running backs. He stormed into that locker room, said, "You guys got to get out of here." He's got Taysom Hill still on his bench, Devon Achane, Tank Bigsby, just a murderer's row of meh players. I'm so curious as to see if Desmond Ridder is going to have to start against Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and at the same time, if I don't know, Zach Moss is going to get some play, or is it going to be Tank Bigsby season for Adam? There's going to be some highs and some low lows. I've got to hope that Mike picks up a different tight end because for now I'm going to roll with him.
Wow, was not expecting you to say that. I think, fuck. I'm sorry, Mike. I think I'm taking Adam here. I think the cards are stacked against Mike based on his current roster. Hopefully his QB situation can get figured out and the tight end situation as well. I think the QBs will carry. Will carry Adam, and he'll get a bounce back week from Waddle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Kelsey plays. I think that's a big factor. And also, Adam's extremely active. I'm sure he's going to be picking up mad guys off the waiver wire. But, I think Mike's team, who I also had ranked extremely low, and now it would be like it'd probably be last because no Aaron Rodgers, which also really hurts Garrett Wilson. So, I have to pick Adam. This is going to be my lock of the week, which is, maybe I feel very confident about this one. I think Lamar Jackson needed a tough week. That's who Lamar Jackson is. He's an up and down kind of guy. I've sworn him off because I owned him for like a year or two, and he's just so annoying to own. I still think Adam's team is good. If he gets Kelsey back, I think it's great. He's got guys he can play and pick up. So I'll take Adam.
That's
lock
crazy.
of the week.
This is almost my lock of the week in the opposite direction. Purely based on what you're factoring in is Adam is extremely active. So you think he's going to pick someone up? I said it earlier. I don't know if Adam really cares about football this year. I haven't seen it from him. So we'll see. We'll see who's right.
So this is finally Mike's week. When is the last time Fitzy picked Mike to win a game?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's certainly not his year. So.
This is Mike's week, but it's not his year.
He's not going to go very far, but he's winning this week. All right, and because we did things a little bit out of order, unless you gentlemen had a final topic, that's going to do it for us this week on the Why Do Boys Make podcast companion podcast for the Why Do Boys Play Games League. As always, on your way out, friends, please, for the first time this year, I beg of you, smash the like button. Tell your friends to sub it up. Sub it up, friends. And as always, my name is Fitzy.
I'm Colin.
And I am Corbett.
And gamers, game on.
Do you wanna die? Cause I'ma take your soul back, baby, on the reaper. Keep it to the side. I got Karen active breeze, but she touching on my wiener. I'm a really nice guy. I'ma say your hand first, like it's really nice to meet her. They call it crab pie, cause he tame at the.
So if you're ready.
I think so. Is it the same flavor? Tart cherry limeade?
Barry, let's go. Cheers. That's going right into the outtakes.
No, that's not it. What is it? Is it present now? I don't see
Yes.
Is
Oh,
it?
it is?
Yes, it's present.
Oh, it's not called like
Present
screen
now.
share or something. All right.